All right. The City Council of West Liberty, Iowa has been called to order by an excellent person at the gavel. We first of all have 4 council members present and 1 council member via audio visual. And so Dana can join in conversation and hear the conversation as well. So we have Council Member Martinez, Council Member Shiltz, Mayor Pro Tem McFerren, and Council Member Parizek. So the first item of agenda, item 2 on the list, is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the agenda is approved. Item number 3, approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. That includes the city council minutes and the September city clerk treasurer's report. Any questions, comments about either of those documents? Hearing none, we'll move to item number 4, the public hearing. Open the public hearing on proposed 80/20 annexation into the city of West Liberty, Iowa, and it is a roll call vote. So is there a motion to approve a public hearing?
Motion.
Is
Second.
it- That's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, we're now open for public comments and or correspondence. Are there any public comments?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to take time to recognize Miss Lisa Ritzberger. She's here on behalf of Blue Properties, which is within your packet. So if council has any questions pertaining to their property annexation, she is available for those questions. I appreciate her patience, her and Jason's patience. As Ken and I worked diligently through the process, it took way longer than we wanted to take for them, but with some additional assistance at the state level, I feel confident that we're in a good place with the annexation, so.
Yeah, and questions for me about our business.
Are there any questions? I called for public comments. Is there any correspondence?
I've not received any correspondence, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Anything else from the council? I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on closing the public hearing? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Next up is resolution 2024-1119-194, a resolution accepting the proposed 80/20 annexation into the city of West Liberty, Iowa. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerren,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just take time to explain, so that, will pass the ordinance or pass the annexation, and now the next process is it'll go to the state. So the board can review that at the state level, and then they'll provide us an answer. What they're doing is they're reviewing it to make sure that it doesn't create what's called an island. And, again, we've been speaking with the state and, they walked us through the process. So again, I'm confident that, we should hopefully receive a positive answer back from them.
Okay.
So once we do that, then next steps will be, we'll move into the ordinance pieces of the annexation. So, and Lisa, I will communicate with Muscatine County, because I know that they've been, waiting on the process as well from building permits and things like that. Okay, all right, and that's all we have. Okay, thank you.
Item number 5, public hearing. Open the public hearing on amendment to the Code of Ordinances in the city of West Liberty for adding a new section, dumping in privately owned dumpsters. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
To approve.
Second?
And there's a second. Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez.
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, we're now ready to receive public comments and or correspondence regarding this addition to the Code of Ordinances. Are there any public comments? Are there any pieces of correspondence?
Mr. Mayor, I've received none.
Are there any questions from council members? With that, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing on amendment to the Code of Ordinance by adding the new section of dumping in privately owned dumpsters. Motion to close. Is there a second? Okay. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, I believe that this is a roll call vote. So the clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, next up is ordinance 2024-1119-10, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance of the city of West Liberty by adding a new section dumping in privately owned dumpsters. First reading. Is there a motion to approve? Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
I just had a quick question, for this, do we need to go through the 3 readings, or do we need to go through just 1 reading tonight, and then at the next we could waive?
Yes, this is just in addition to that illegal dumping that we did, that
Yeah.
gave us the ability to add this one into our code of ordinances so that we can try and contain it here within the city rather than what we do this city.
Are there any other questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, next up is item number 6, open the public hearing for amendments to the Code of Ordinance in the city of West Liberty, Iowa, for adding a new section amending provisions pertaining to council meetings. Is there a motion to approve? Motion. Is there, thank you, is there a
Second.
second? Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll for opening the public hearing.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, this is the time for public comments or correspondence regarding this change to the ordinances of the city. Hearing no comments or acknowledgement of any correspondence, are there any questions from the members of the council?
This is, just to coordinate the meeting times by changing them to 6:30? Is that,
Well,
or are we changing the,
we're giving permission to change the meeting time for the
Okay.
council.
So what
And
it's
so the-
doing, it's allowing you to set it by resolution moving forward rather than having to amend your ordinance all the time. So what it
Okay.
will do is it will put it in place that says council can set their meeting dates and times by resolution rather than amending your ordinance like you have this time.
both regular meetings and special meetings, if I read it correctly.
Yep, special meetings will still follow the same thing. You will still have your 24 hours unless it's an emergency, but this will be setting your council meetings to move it to your 6:30 timeframe. So what will happen on that third reading of it, then we would have a resolution at the end of it to be able to include that.
Gotcha.
But don't show up on December 3rd at 6:30 because it won't be in place. Are there any other comments, questions? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll. Wait a minute, sorry, we need to have a motion to go out of closed session.
Close public hearing.
Okay, and a second,
Second.
is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerren,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez.
Yeah.
Schultz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Which brings us to ordinance 2024-111. 9-11, an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of West Liberty, Iowa by amending provision pertaining to the council meetings. First reading. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
All right, next up, item 7, reports. First up is city engineer Leo Foley.
Okay, so Columbus Street, we did the change order for the heated concrete, and that work is done now. It hasn't been tested with cold weather yet, but very shortly. They also need to put the fire hydrant in. The subcontractor for All American did call me today, and I are playing telephone tag. I think he's getting ready to put that in. All American told me he would have it in this week. And then they need to backfill, and get that seating done. The other part on Rainbow, they still have a wet area where it cools and they need to do some ditching. We gave them all the information and that's part of their first contract, so hopefully they'll get that ditching done this week too. They told us that they would do. That would basically close those projects out and we'll get rid of them. And then we'll talk about well two when we have a pay estimate on that. And then as far as the wastewater treatment plant, I know the city has a meeting Friday with West Liberty Foods. That's also part of the rate study. There might be some good news in there with West Liberty Foods seem to be getting on a little better footing and we've been talking to them about what the rates would have to be and then their portion of the baseline improvement. So that's what we're working on right now. That's all I have unless somebody else has.
Any questions for the city engineer?
Oh, I did have one question. Have we, had any further discussion in regards to any options or resolutions for the short street traffic?
I did go over and we looked at it and talked to the city manager. The only thing I can say is either patrolling or we could put a speed hump or bump on there, but that would be about the only answers we could come up with. It's funny, the times I must go at the wrong times because the times I'm over there, there's hardly any traffic, you know, I'm certain there's people speeding. I'm positive, but it must be at like 5:30 at night or certain times is when it's happening. Because I've been over there 3 or 4 times since trying to think of how we reduce that. So I still think a speed bump is probably the best answer to slow people down, but
I didn't know if there was any alternatives to that, because then I thought how is that going to affect the snow removal?
oh, it's not good for snow removal, but people do it all the time. And
Okay.
that almost every community has speed bumps, so
Yeah.
they can, and I think Adam's here, I know most people that do the snow removal don't like them. There are ones, I've seen them, nothing's cheap, but I've even seen temporary ones that could be put in kind of as a test, but again, you can buy them and put them in, that they're the ones that you kind of bolt down into the thing, and test it to see. I really don't know if it's gonna help you 100%. The people that are driving four-wheelers or whatever else they're doing on those roads, it's hard to stop those kind of people. At least can do some good.
Well, that was the other thing, we were trying to look at the distance and try to determine if it just, is the appearance of them speeding. Because when you're standing still, when you're seeing a moving vehicle versus, because there's just not enough distance in there to actually be speeding. From when they're leaving the parking, wherever they park, to that stop sign. That's one thing Chief and I were talking about is, in order to be speeding, it would be difficult. It's just either, maybe louder vehicles or the appearance, because when you're standing still, of course, a moving object's gonna appear to be moving faster than it actually is. So again, the only other option is, we went over that about putting in the speed bump, so.
I didn't know too, if you guys, some cities have speed cameras that they can. They was,
They've done some like legal stuff where like speak there.
Yep.
It's accidents and stuff.
I wasn't meaning to collect money.
Oh,
I meant one that just would tell you,
oh, I think-
yeah, how much time, how many people were speeding, the one where you go by and it says, oh, you're going 45, you should be going 35. I don't know if those are worth investing in, that we could use in different locations.
What is the limit on that?
It's gonna be 25.
25.
25?
And a lot of the issues up for that intersection is people coming around the curve and it appears the cars are going fast and they are, just because that's the curve. They appear to be going faster. We've had I've had my office sit down there and like watch for the speeds like that. It's taking a minute to get that ending doing stuff because it's just a lot of the appearance of people coming around the curve and they don't make it all faster.
Okay, and then the parking on one side, has that been an issue at all?
I just spoke to some knowledge. Sometimes down there, people are saying it's really, no one calls it planes down there, but they still have to check that.
And I wondered, is that at night? Because again, when I'm down there during the day, I don't see them parked on the street.
Well, when, it was brought to my attention, it was the evening. So I don't know if that's just because people are coming home or that's when they have visitors.
And I was on the road, not necessarily inside of the addition.
A lot of the times when we get through the part of the street, they would just having like apartments limited and stuff.
Limited, yeah.
What's that?
Anything else for the city engineer? We'll move on. Then there are 3 reports in the packet from water treatment, water sewer, and library. I already teased Ally about mentioning carpet cleaning and strategic planning in the same sentence. And so, and Greg's report. So any questions regarding the report? Good thorough reports in the packet.
I do know Councilmember McFerren, I didn't know if you wanted to cover your questions, that you had sent. Pertaining to some of the water report.
Yeah, yes.
About
I was trying to find,
what's required for the
um,
water tower.
well, this is the. Is this the wastewater? This is the wastewater treatment plant, right? We're looking at?
The very first right there, the wastewater treatment plant, and then that second one is the water.
Okay.
Here's the
Okay. Yeah, the 4th Street Waterline project, I just wanted just a brief synopsis of where we're at with that.
Yeah, so that came up, the Dollar General has been working on, upgrading their water line, into the building. And during that time, we've been working with their engineers, the city department. And, due to us having some poor valve systems, we're going to take the opportunity to work with them while they have their project going to install new valves. So then that would minimize the interruption into the water service, and be able to utilize the same DNR testing and things of that nature with that project, so. So that's where that Fourth Street project
Is that-
comes up.
Where that patches, right? in front
Yeah,
of
we
the
had a
house,
water leak there
There,
due to a leak. Yeah.
valves. Yeah, and then, it's basically just upgrading the lines underneath.
With the valve systems for shutting them.
And then the water tower inspection, and what do you mean by clear well? I guess I wasn't understanding what clear well meant.
So, just like we kind of talked about tonight down at those retention wells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The reserve,
Yep, so those have to be inspected, over a period of time for compliance to make sure, that there's no leaks into what's holding the water, such as your water tower. To make sure that there's no rust or leaks, contaminants, that the pressure is holding. There's no weaknesses to that, so.
okay, and that's a yearly, is that a yearly inspection?
No, it's every 5 years.
Every 5 years. Okay,
It should be done within every 5 years. And then they get an inspection report.
okay. And then the 120 that we've contracted with, are they just going to? Are they the ones taking over contacting residents
So
that we
they're,
haven't been able to reach?
yeah, so part of the contract is they're, as a third party, they are, once they've completed the inventory, which they've done. Now they've sent letters to homes so that during that inventory process, that they still were unable to determine, you know, what the water lines were made of. So that's why they're contacting them to do an additional follow-up with them to identify the material that they have for their water line. Because we're trying to identify all lead for the compliance piece of the DNR.
So they're gonna contact the property owners and figure out.
They will be
Look at
working
it.
with our staff and we'll be looking at 120 to go through that. So this is the next step into the inventory process.
Okay. Okay, and then I think we covered the electrical generation study will come about once that the BHMG is finished.
Cody's here, we'll go over that information once we get into, we have a resolution for
Okay,
the pieces I think that you had some questions on, and we can have Cody address that when we get to that resolution.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or concerns?
I was in the year, I was doing it better.
January 1st.
Is that, is it or that?
It's gonna be for now.
Other questions or comments? I'm not aware of any committee meetings, so no reports. Item number 8, vendor voucher claims, vendor voucher list, claim list number 1 in the amount of $650,959.87. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Yeah, is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, it is approved. Next up is item number 9, the public comments and or correspondence. It's a time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. And we can't take any action, but we can hear the comments. So are there any public comments?
Yes, Jacob Lane, Chamber of Commerce, as you know, this weekend is the big holiday open house. So Saturday is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday includes the lasagna lunch at the United Methodist Church, which all of the money they're raising from that is going to Shop at the Top, so keep that in mind. And then at 4 o'clock on that Saturday, ends with the free movie in the New Strand Theater, so we're excited about that. And then Sunday is our big day, that is from 1 to 5 p.m. and of course, during both of these days, a ton of downtown businesses will be open for different things and different things will be going on. I handed out a map of all the events going on. It all culminates with the lighting of the city Christmas tree at 5:30 p.m. And I invite the city council and everyone in this room to be here. Our mayor will give a speech. Hopefully he'll keep it under 2 hours and then we will light the city Christmas tree. I just want to give a special thank you to the city. They've been very helpful to me during this process. I've had a lot of back and forth with Shari over different things, just cementing things, and she hooked me up with a lot of sand last minute and other things. So the city's been very helpful and we are gracious for all the help. So thank you. Any questions?
I had a question.
Yes.
I was approached by the Heritage Foundation and because early on, I think there was discussion about maybe different organizations or people to participate in this tree lighting by putting an ornament on the tree. And they have an ornament. They just don't know what to do. If this is still on or
We
not.
didn't do anything with that. That was the mayor's
Yes.
idea, so.
Okay. Well, they have an ornament.
Well, and the city electrical department's going back, I think, you said. So could we give that to you to be put up during the time when you go back to do things on the tree?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just get with you later then.
So perhaps next year we can expand upon that more, but we didn't really jump on that one this year, so.
Yeah, they just asked because
Yeah.
apparently they jumped on it quite right
Yeah.
away.
Which is
And
really nice.
so they have one to
Okay,
put up.
all right, thank you.
Okay, thanks. So any other public comments? Any other public comments? City council comments and correspondence. Councilmember Martinez.
I did receive an email from Mr. Leary.
Uh-huh.
Pertaining.
Mhm.
Further away. And what the changes, also from my behalf. On Friday, I would like to be council.
Oh,
So we'll see what they bring to the community. We've had one last year. And then we'll have another council.
uh-huh.
So really thing, it's fairly new, gives us the third year I have a meeting with them, so. Good.
Councilmember.
I spoke with Chief Gary as well, and I did receive that the same email, and it's just ongoing, meaning to the recent garbage.
I have nothing further to add. I also received an email, but that's all I have.
Yeah, me too, and we've talked on the phone. Yeah. Councilmember
Yeah,
Parizek.
so I think this looks awesome, so thanks for putting all this together.
Yes. Yeah.
I do have one.
Sure.
Well, since Lisa's here, we can maybe jump in. Just with the building, seeing that wall, I believe it's
Sure.
the south wall, right? I was kind of curious where we are with that. I've had some people just
Right,
speak.
great question. So we hired we hired a contractor to do the masonry. And then he basically, he decided he wasn't sure if he could do it. So then he was working with a partner that was going to help him. We had a second person with him, that we're gonna team up and do it together. And so they're still engaged with us, but we've started the process of reaching out. So we have another company coming tomorrow. We have another company set up to come on the 2nd of December. We have reached out to 5 other masonry contractors. The biggest challenge we're facing right now So, and we've also, and also they looked at it, so basically the wall is four layers. So they said it's just that outer layer, so they said there's probably at least four brick walls on the back side of that.
Whoa.
Structurally,
Right.
it's holding.
Right,
It's
is
safe.
they essentially how they've explained it to us. So. We have 3 people set up to come out already, and that we're working, the biggest issue that we're dealing with is because of the situation in the city of Davenport.
Yeah.
Project, so many buildings have been condemned there, after the brick building collapse, they've got a lot of buildings in there, so it's really hard to get anybody from that areas, and so, but we feel good about the amount of contacts that we have out now. I mean, this is a high sense of urgency for us, just because we want this to be off our plate. So we will keep you updated. I would say by the first week of December. And we'll have to work with Ken because of our grant, you know, if we have to change contractors. We were hoping to just get all the information first and then talk with him, that we're hoping by the first week of December to have at least 2 options to consider in addition to the one that we have already worked with to get bids. And then meet with him and see what we do next. So, yes. Feel free to contact us anytime.
I don't know if you're staying out of interest or if you had other things on the agenda you wanted.
No.
You're not offending us if you take a
Well, we were
sleepy
gonna
one
leave
home.
it New business, but we thought we'd.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay. All right.
And I'm glad we did.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see, we got all the council members, I think, on it. So now we're to the city manager.
I have, just, the correspondence with, Mr. Fury on the garbage and, Bradley Curse as well. And speaking, and those are the only 2 businesses that have reached out to me in regards to the garbage.
So I think today.
Oh, yeah,
That's pretty good.
very nice.
Yes, read some things. It's very nice. How about the city clerk?
The only additional one that I have is Travis Shield has contacted me about the garbage rates as well, just asking for further clarification and some other additional questions pertaining to the.
Okay, new business, item 10A. Discussion by the city council on the open burning dates in the city of West Liberty, Iowa. All right, discussion.
Well, Mr. Mayor, since I've been here, from 2012, I think this is an annual discussion that seems to come around. And, more so our weather patterns, have not been cooperating with our ordinance. So with that said, I've done some research with other communities to kind of have an idea what their open burning times are, and I've seen, our neighboring communities, we have some that started September 1 and in December 1 for open burning. Some that are just for November only. Currently, right now, I think ours is the last week of December, or the last week of October and the first 2 weeks of November. Last 2, no, I'm sorry, first week, yeah. So, unfortunately, at the end of October this year, we had a burn ban. And then shortly after that, then the clouds opened up and now we have lots of moisture. So it really hasn't provided, community members time, to burn leaves. In addition, from the vacuum truck, I mean, we're running that too, on a daily basis, but then when you have wet leaves, that makes it a little more complicated to remove the leaves. So, one, we could, my recommendation is that we would extend opening burning until the end of November. And then we review our ordinance and, update our ordinance going forward in the future. So we're not having to continually, every year have this conversation about that, but that would be at council's.
I think actually that's probably a very, I don't know if anyone else has noticed it too, just noticed in my yard. Normally, all the leaves are down by this time of year. And I don't know if it's the weather pattern or whatever, I've got like 2 out of the 3 trees in my yard alone that are still coming down, so that prolongs what people can do with them. So it might be just a good idea, I don't know if it's
Move it
farming
along.
or what we're doing, but the leaves, I've noticed around town, they're still hanging on this year.
Sure. So like, are you suggesting we move it a month? Or-
I'm recommending that we, I'm asking for an extension for the city members to go ahead and burn till the end of November, outside of the ordinance. And then we would go back and we look to amend the ordinance to actually fit, you know, how our weather patterns, how things are extended, so we're not having a continual conversation every year. Because like I said, historically, I remember this is the same conversation we've had for a long period of time. But it's never-
I think every year we change it or extend it. Yeah.
And again, I mean, I respect that those individuals who, you know, have allergies and, you know, are impacted by, but again, we haven't even been able to burn, so even by an extension, given the forecast, I mean, it could be another week yet before they're able to burn, so.
The question I have, and I should have caught this earlier, so we have a discussion on this, so we're not asking for any action. But shouldn't we, if we were suspending the ordinance, shouldn't we really have a motion to suspend the
But
ordinance?
then I didn't see that we didn't have the action on it, so that's my fault, so, yeah.
Well, I looked it over and didn't catch that either.
Yeah. So with that said, I mean, we'll be coming through to December, so,
They can still approve by.
I think they can do a consent.
Yeah, they can do a consensus, if
Okay.
that's what they wanna do, that's why it's left that way, is so that you guys can have a consensus instead of a motion to approve that.
Okay, so is there a consensus to allow the open burning to occur until through December 31st or 30th,
No, November.
November, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes.
Yes.
okay.
We will, I will work with public, relations to post that and, let public works know and, we'll let the fire chief know as well.
Next up is resolution 2024-1119-195. A resolution approving the street finance report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, and authorizing the clerk to file with the Iowa Department of Transportation. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? Is there a second? Is there discussion?
I just wanted to let you guys know that in the report that you guys see, you will see a negative balance within the road use. That is not correct. They had to update it on the transportation website because our bonding was flowing into that. I will send you the finalized copy. This is just the approval for me to be able to file it, and then you will get done with the meeting this evening, and I'll send you the final copy.
Other discussion? Hearing none, it's been moved and seconded. The clerk will call the roll.
McFerren,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Schiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Next up is resolution 2024-1119-196. A resolution to accept and approve the electric transmission and distribution document for the city of West Liberty. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Is there discussion? Quite a few documents.
This is just, the basic filing with the IUB. Is it? Or
So essentially, this is the compliance document.
compliance?
Yeah, this is something that we filed with the IUC, the Iowa Utilities Commission now. The structures are annual maintenance and inspection. Just basic guidelines that we have to go by and then submit to the Iowa Utilities Commission every year. What we have in there is, vegetation management, distribution, inspection and maintenance. And,
Yeah.
with included substation, basically all of our infrastructure and.
Other questions?
I like the yearly work schedule. Is that your typical, like throughout the year schedule that you want to maintain the tracking all those month to month to month?
Yes.
Okay.
So we do a tenth of the year or a tenth of the system every year.
Oh,
Yep. And then every 10 years, we'll do the entire system.
Other discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Resolution 2024-1119-197, a resolution approving the filing of the annual urban renewal report for fiscal year 2024 to the Iowa Department of Management. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerren,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yeah.
Schultz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Next up is item E, resolution 2024-1119-198. A resolution approving the filing of the tax increment financing fifth certification with the Muscatine County Auditor's Office. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Martinez,
Yeah.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Next up is item F, resolution 2024-119-199. A resolution obligating funds for the urban renewal tax, finance, obligations, which shall come due in the next succeeding fiscal year. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there discussion?
Mr. Mayor, this is again your appropriations for the previous resolution, it's certifying. And now with the funds that we've certified for tax, then this is the appropriation measure that is explaining where those funds will be appropriated.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes.
Martinez,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Okay, next up is resolution 2024-1119-200. A resolution to allow Jose for deal. At 107 West Maxim Avenue, to use the city right of way to place stairs to access the front of his home. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I have received from our building inspector and I support the recommendation. The concern is by moving forward and allowing this to be placed in the right of way, it creates a liability on the city. And in addition, the steps would require a handrail. If someone was to run into the steps or fall, the liability is on the city.
So why not a ramp?
That wasn't what was requested by Mr. Tree. This is what was requested.
So let me ask. in inclement weather, all property owners are responsible for their sidewalks and that are, you know, on their right of way. And does that include these stairs? And if they don't, and somebody falls, is it on us? Is it on the city?
So I didn't go into the specifics of that. I did just simply understand through ours is that once it's placed in the city's right of way, then it becomes our liability. So when that's stated, then I guess in addition to that, then that responsibility would fall upon us to manage those steps, but I do not have a clear answer for you.
Didn't realize it would, the responsibility would fall on the city.
You typically, yeah, this is the reason why we wouldn't, you know, we wouldn't typically allow something of this to be placed in the area.
Is it just because they don't have, appropriate, like, walkway into their house, or, I mean, I guess what is their reason?
I think it's fairly steep there,
Yes.
but
Okay,
also, in my opinion, though, there was no parking on that street, so it doesn't usually warrant to like where you park your car and then you have to climb up over the bank, you know, or something. Unless a lot of people are jumping out, or like just in the middle of the block.
so you're saying because there's no parking there, there's,
I'm
Not
I'm
reason-
trying to understand the reason for the steps
Oh,
that what he
okay.
wants. I can see if there are people parking.
right.
That maybe, they'd be climbing over that embankment.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
it just,
don't know if I don't have a clear understanding as to why the request.
that,
The reasoning is for what Mr. Trujillo had communicated with Eddie Ortiz was that he wanted to be able to have easier access to get his trash can up and down because it's a little bit steeper in that area. When I spoke with Mr. Geertz yesterday evening, he communicated that it would be more of a hazard to have those stairs there with him trying to get that up and down that area to be able to keep him safe. It's safer to have that angle. There is one property down there that has stairs, but that is a home that has had them for a very long period of time prior to our building code coming into effect. That's why it's being presented to you, because Terry doesn't have the authority to approve or deny it. So that's why he's bringing it to you. However, he said that he would not support that if it was, that he had a decision.
yeah, it just concerns me because of the liability. Anything could happen. And that just really concerns me.
Not saying the risk, I mean, I'm saying that it's not bad. I'm sure he would upkeep the stairs.
Oh, absolutely. I don't, yeah.
Just the liability on this.
Well, and you don't know if anybody is going to be crossing the street there and going to be using those steps and then they trip or something. I mean, I'm not opposed to doing what homeowners want to do, but the catch is the fact that, you know, if we're going to be held financially liable, that's a big concern.
Council, and again, along the lines with our recommendations is, you know, I'm gonna bring it back to what can we do? And I think that, if you allow me to have a opportunity, to take it back and have that discussion, if we don't approve, then I'll take it back to the building inspector and have a conversation with Mr. Trujillo to see if there is something that we can do. There's chances maybe we're not able to, but at least we can go back and have more discussion on what we could do, and what we could allow, as you had said, Omar, possibly a ramp or, you know,
Well, I mean,
something that we could
looking at
work
the
with him
picture-
on.
Looking at the picture, you're seeing the neighbor has a driveway.
Yeah.
Well, or, I mean, I don't know if you can put the trash can at the corner there on his right of way, on his side of the right of way, just east of the driveway.
Right,
way-
and I think that that's where it wants a little more discussion, because maybe it's not the work of concrete and steps and handrail, maybe it's more of what our public works, staff could do as far as, again, relocating the trash can. And if that's, you know, the purpose that he's needing to put the steps in, and that's the only purpose, then I think that, that Mr. Torito, you know, deserves more of a conversation of what we could do.
I like that better.
I think so too. I mean, maybe you do a landing or something, where you can, if he's more concerned about this trash can staying in place. And not having to roll down the hill or whatever, because I know his is kind of like, it's a weird, because it definitely go up. Right where his house is, and then it kind of levels out, but I think there's more discussion of what we can do.
I need some advice from the clerk. It's been, excuse me.
Motion and seconded, so I
Yeah,
think we
it's
can
been-
take a vote.
Yeah, you can follow roll call, and then what will happen is if it's voted down, then it will fail, and then that would be the ability for the city and to go back and have further discussion.
Can the motion be amended?
You don't have to, so you are motioning, you're saying, yes, we're going to approve it, but when I do the roll call portion of it, if you all say no, then it will fail.
Yeah, I understand we don't have to, but I was thinking that that could be part of the motion, if it could be amended, to have the city work with, okay,
It won't be needed.
Okay.
Your city manager is disclosing that she will continue to have that conversation with the building inspector, to get more clarification on that.
okay, all right, thanks. Okay, is there further discussion? The clerk will call the roll.
All right, Martinez.
No.
McFerren,
No,
Parizek,
No.
Shiltz,
No.
motion fails 0-4.
And I'll follow up with and let you know, the conversation where we go with that. Okay.
Resolution 2024-1119-201, resolution to approve the engineering service contract agreement for the city for the west side sewer extension improvements. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there discussion?
Well, Mr. Mayor and Council, I'll let you fully speak on this as well. So this is an agreement, with the potential of the annexation of the properties on west on Highway 6 and, future development, in the area. We communicated with, V&K that we would like to start looking at, with our capital improvement plan, the study, pertaining to the extension of the sewer and the lift station, for that area of, the city. And Leo, I didn't know if you had anything more to add to
So
that.
this is to extend the sewer as far west as you can extend it with gravity. So if you would go to annex and you want to pick those properties up, we'd have to go to the lift station and it would come to this sewer and then it would be gravity into your system from there. It also picks up Wheelie Chevrolet and it does gravity sewer them. They currently have a septic system and it would, so they'd be able to get rid of their septic system. So here isn't working very great. And now they would become city sewer and it would set you up for the future.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McFerrin,
yes,
Martinez.
Yeah.
Parizek,
Yes.
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Next up is resolution 2024-1119-202. A resolution to approve pay estimate number 2 for Norway Well and Pump Company for the well number 2 rehabilitation project. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there discussion?
yes.
City engineer Foley.
This is to pay them for $100,000 for a lot of the electrical controls that they've done. We're holding back $19,000 in retainage and then 10,000 more, 11,000 more for because the well pump isn't, we haven't been able to test it properly yet. So we did have a big meeting over there today. We're probably looking at a bigger horsepower on the pump that they have now, and that should solve it. So Northway had told me that they thought they could get this in the next week or so. I will know more at the next meeting as far as what's going on with that. We had a good meeting today with everybody over there, a lot of people with their hands in it. You've got your integrator that does work there. There's another integrator that set up the system. And then you have Northway, myself, and Harm all in the same room trying to figure out how to make the system work.
So let me ask, it is definite that we'll be able, that well will be utilized.
Yes.
Will be- Okay,
Absolutely.
so do we need to switch out the motor system
We're
or
not positive yet, but it
Okay.
looks like that we might have to put a higher horsepower in.
higher?
And in Northway, we just had a meeting today.
Okay.
Northway was gonna go back and look, and so what they were probably gonna have to do is take the one that's in there
Yeah.
out and bring in a bigger one. Everything's set up for a bigger one. That's not a problem at all. When they
Okay,
did the acidizing of the well, which is very normal, they
so are we paying for two
no, you
motors?
probably won't be.
Okay.
We'll work that through. We'll get
Okay.
to the next one.
All right, there's a motion and second on the floor. The clerk will call the roll.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez, McFerren,
Yes,
Shiltz,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Next up is item J, resolution 2024-1119-203. A resolution setting wages for the West Liberty City Manager and City Clerk / Finance Officer effective July 1, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
motion to approve.
Is there a second? Is there discussion? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Shiltz,
Yes.
McFerren,
Yes,
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez. Motion passes 4-0.
Next up is resolution 2024-1119-204. A resolution setting wages for the water and sewer department new hire. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there discussion? Hearing-
I just wanted to give a quick update on, Mr. Hubie, is doing well.
In the report too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
is that, because he is past his ability for like water, that water certification or something, or is this just the entry level?
Entry
Okay,
level,
okay, gotcha.
good report in the.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any other discussion, questions? The clerk will call the roll.
McFerren,
Yes,
Shiltz,
Yes.
Parizek,
Yes.
Martinez. Motion passes 4-0.
All right,
Mr. Mayor, before you call adjournment, I just want to remind, council and mayor that, so today I was, I'm online in classes.
Yes.
And tomorrow I'll be online in classes. I'll be able to check messages and follow up. And then, Cody and I we have a busy morning scheduled with, FEMA again. They'll be back every Thursday now, till the end of the month to go over, getting everything certified so we can send it for their review to see what we can be approved on for emergency and mitigation. And in addition to that, then we have set the meeting with Mr. Geary at 1 o'clock on Thursday for staff and mayor and Mr. Brooks from Levy to go over his billing questions. And then on Friday, as Leo has communicated along with us, as we'll be meeting with Western Foods. And then we'll have our supervisor meeting then with Leo after that one, so. You need to get in touch with me.
I will look forward to either your or these updates from, especially the community. So.
Yes, yeah. They've been going very well. FEMA has certainly come a long way with the individuals that they assign. And then at the state level as well. So both of them come down at state and the federal come down once a week. And we work through all of our categories and our projects. So when you say Cody, they've been very informative and helpful, and it's a lot of administrative time and work, but we believe it's an investment that we don't want to pass up on behalf of the city.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. We're adjourned.